Holocene by the Ocean, aka the Ocean Collective. Okay, this would be studio album number, God, somewhere close to like 8 or 10. I can't think. But anyways, I've kind of sort of talked about their previous studio records, 2 albums, the whole dinosaur thing that they were doing. Physia, I can't even remember the name of the albums on the top of my head, which makes me sad to say that, because those were good. They were solid. Not even necessarily album of the year contenders necessarily, but they were solid and definitely in my alley of progressive metal. In fact, this is a very well known to be progressive sludge metal from Germany. And this record seems to be go a different direction. That it seems there are fans that are mixed on this record. I guess because it's not metal enough, or at least not as metal as it needs to be. Here's a way to look at this and go into this record that I think people need to. All you need to know is this involves water and like ocean stuff. Ironic, given this band's called The Ocean. But normally they don't always just talk about that. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about what their namesake is. They talk about like bigger name topics. Hell, they're one of their more they did like a double album thing that had something to do with the involvements of Catholicism and the Protestant Reformation in terms of the history involving Christianity in general, that I've yet to listen to, and I would very much like to, actually, just out of morbid curiosity, given I am Catholic myself. So, eventually I'll get to that, and might talk about it by the end of the year. We'll see. As I'm just getting started, and I'm already enjoying the beginnings of this band. So, yeah. At first I wasn't sure on my way home. I was kind of, a little tired, so I was like, maybe I need to listen to it in ears. I listened to it in ears, and yeah, this record really does have that aquatic feel to it. It's more electronic based, but there's also some, if you notice more within ears, because electronic stuff pops, and the heavier stuff and the vocals pop out the most usually. But if you hear it in ears, you'll notice more organic instrumentation. It's more like, for being electronic, it's very much more organic feeling, especially once you finally hear the more string arrangements and the horn arrangements of this thing that give it a more jazz fusion-y kind of a feel to it. I would go as far as the feel of this record is what I wish upon my first listens, before I finally understood it. Those who remember Thrice's Alchemy Index, yes, I'm going there. Specifically the volume 2 of the Alchemy Index, Water. Very electronic oriented. I learned to appreciate it. I didn't mind Digital Sea like most people. Like most people did wish we get more of it. Was it night diving or night swimming? That instrumental that's very almost post-metalish in nature, or at least post-rock meets post-hardcore, kind of, sort of. But yeah, like, if this would be that answer, this album, to those people who want something of that nature, but still have the thematics of that. You know what I mean? I liked this, and even they have a feature here that's probably the best thing on here. I mean, Boreal, Sea of Reeds is nice, Atlantic, first half's nice, but it still gets interesting even in the back half of Subboreal, Paraboreosis, Subatlantic. Unconformities, which is probably the one track on here that's the longest, is actually the best. Clocking in at 9 minutes 10 seconds, featuring a friend of theirs named Karen Park. Yeah. Those female vocals were definitely very nicely needed, and they know, like, they have this thing where they know to go from these more electronic and string and horn arrangement things, which blend together real well, to the eventual what you expect of the band's progressive sludge sound. Eventually. Like in these quiet, loud dynamics, which is very well done throughout this record. But that track is definitely, I do agree with Metal Meltdown on that regard, but initially I was a little mixed. Positive leaning, but still mixed. And I'm definitely past being mixed. I genuinely like this thing. I'm not sure I like it as much as the previous, but I think I'm starting to I think it'll be a grower, and I could see some people potentially who will like Metal Meltdown eventually getting to that point of wanting to put it as an album of the year contender, or at least putting the Unconformities track as a song of the year for sure. But overall, I like I said, if you wanted more from like what Thrice got, this band will kind of serve this. In fact, this is a more, compared to what you normally get from this band, this is a more of a great easing in for people who are even non-metalheads to get into, I think, for this band. As a good accessible point into their discography and understanding what they are to do, especially, and it's a more calming record compared to their usuals. There are probably the more heavier moments almost feel like have the feeling of the winter, like of one of those stormy nights where the tides are just going crazy and chaotic, and that their progressive sludge sound is meant to emulate that in this regard. And so I get what they're doing here, and yeah, I'd say give this out. If you have never given The Ocean a chance, this isn't a bad starting point, I'd say. So far. I've yet to listen to the rest of the discography, so don't fully quote me on that. But so far, not a bad wouldn't make a bad first impression for some people. Not my first impressions with the band, obviously. It was the previous two records that for some reasons I'm blanking on, but I know they're about dinosaurs. So, dinosaurs. Anyways, but this one being, I think, a follow-up to those two records. Kind of, sort of, where it seems the tide's washing away everything, and we finally get the eventual seas that we eventually get, I guess, because they mentioned the Atlantic. They talk about the sub-Atlantic. I don't know. For sure, I'm not that level of intelligent. Like I said, my favorite band's Tool, so usually I'm that level of intelligent. Though don't go as far as Mad Mike in referring to me as a fan of progressive Nickelback. Even though I'm glad he never said nickel crack, because then I know he's fucking being insulting. If you haven't seen the part 4 of his insulting other bands and basically fun of fan bases and all this stuff, it's great. Check that out. But anyways, regardless of that, my thoughts on this record. You know, at first I was almost about to do the same as I did for the previous album from Frozen Soul. But I think I'm going to say this band's keeping it real to horns up. I don't know if I can say masterclass yet, though. I can't say that. I can say it's from heavy keep it real to light horns up. It's definitely a great, actually. But I don't know if I can say it's incredible or anything just yet. Maybe it's a grower in time. I think people should give it a chance. Given the year's still young, you know, it might make album of the year contender. Give it a chance, guys. It's a little mix. I get some people on the internet are getting mixed about it, but hopefully more in the positive side and not the negative. Because I don't feel like it deserves that. The negativity that this... I feel like the ocean still seems like it's very... They put out nothing but solid material, and this is no exception to that as far as I'm concerned. But what did you guys think anyways? Leave a comment below, let me know. If you like this video, rock that like button with thrust if you must. Hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell to get to get notified of all of what I will be releasing. Also, links in description to my socials, all my socials. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.